So the main message of this video is to realize that you need a life of your own, whether you're in education or not. So what I'm going to do now, I'm getting into this video, and this is the only video idea that I have, so bear with me. And I wanted to just start off by telling you that this video is not like my normal video where I normally give you advice. Instead, it's like more of a storytelling type of video. I feel like people need to realize that what happened in your past is not who you are now. And who you are now, you don't want to go back to who you was in the past. If you keep things to yourself and you don't solve it by yourself, or you don't talk to other people, you realize that the problem will always be there. You need to realize that people that are popular, they are normally confident because they always have people around them and they love the attention. But I was a person that used to keep to myself. So I was going to say, when you don't talk to people, you can't really be yourself around people. And I was going to say, for most of you that are introverted, it's not that you can't talk to people, it's just that you're not used to being around people. So it takes a lot of time to actually put yourself out there, to be self-aware and to build confidence. Because I feel like confidence in itself is like a skill, and being able to be okay with rejection is so important. Because maybe back then I had so many crushes on girls that I used to like, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if I liked a girl, I wouldn't really talk to her. But now things are different because I feel like I can talk to a girl if I like her. And obviously I make sure that they're not taken as well. But the only difference with now and back then is that I have boundaries now, but back then I didn't. So that's another thing that you need to consider. So that is really the only difference. If you're a nice guy and you don't have boundaries, people are going to walk all over you and take advantage of you. But if you're a nice guy such as myself and you have boundaries, you realize that not anyone can walk all over you and not anyone can take your time. And I wanted to add, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because this is what I'm thinking about right now. It's just something that you need to think about, because by being confident is by being okay with being by yourself, but then also knowing when you can talk to other people as well. And the person that I'm no longer going back to is because I used to be very moody, and I know that when you're moody, it's really just in the moment. And I used to do things based on how I feel. And that's another thing about being confident. You have to do things regardless of how you feel. Even if you're not ready, it's just about being ready and making yourself ready. Because opportunities present themselves to you, but it's about which opportunities are you going to take. Because when you put yourself out there, it's so scary, but you don't know what people will say or what people will do. But all you have to do is just be yourself, at least be honest with what you want, and make sure as well that the people that you choose to surround yourself with are actually uplifting, they have goals of their own. And how this can help you is because back in the past, I used to give up so easily, that when things were so difficult, I used to give up. And that's another thing that you want to realize as well, that there are so many ways to get to your destination, but you don't want to give up. Because you need to realize by giving up, you're giving up on yourself and the people that believe in you. The reality is, people won't tell you of what you need to change, but you have to change for yourself. And that's what I wanted to tell you, because other people, they will be there to support you when you start improving. But at the beginning, you have to do that for yourself. Because if you see my first videos, you notice that my hair is messy. It's not really cut neatly as well. So my hair used to be messy, it wasn't cut neat. And then also I used to have spots, and that's when I used to eat so many dairy products. And then also as well, I know that you can live the way you want to, but it's important to choose a life that you see yourself progressing in. Because obviously I used to live a life of what I wanted, but then it wasn't until responsibility hit that I started to become more disciplined. So this is really to people that are under 18. So this part of the video is to people that are under 18. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I didn't have my first job until I was 18. Because when you turn 18, it's such a shift. All of a sudden, you go from having no responsibility to having loads of responsibility. And that's when I started to change. Because I realized that I was mostly by myself, and it's mostly about how you think about yourself, and it's mostly about the people that you surround yourself with. I used to go to an all-boys school for my secondary school, and it gets competitive when it comes to sports. And I feel as well that when it comes to sports, everyone wants to do better than the other person. But then as well, when it comes to guys, they don't really talk about self-improvement, they don't talk about grooming and all of that. And I was going to say that grooming is so important, and especially for us guys, we need to be doing that. And I feel like as well, when things are like too competitive, you start to forget about having fun. And then also as well, because you're so competitive, you can get carried away as well. I was going to say, when you're in an all-boys school and you're trying to impress all the guys there, you have to actually think about it. Why are you actually doing that? Unless it's like your friends where you're trying to like motivate each other or learn from each other. Because when you try to compete, you don't really learn anything. You just try and like do it for your ego. And I'm saying all of this because I used to do this. Because I wasn't good at football, but I can run fast. Most guys either watch football, they play football, or they're just like talking about football because everyone else likes it. Because you need to realize that time really heals people. So all the mistakes that you made in the past, you just need to reflect and be more self-aware. I was going to say, if I was in that environment for longer than like 5 years, then that means I would have like acted differently than how I act now. Because who you are today is not who you're going to be tomorrow. And who you was yesterday is not who you are today. So I'll repeat that. So who you are today is not who you are tomorrow. And who you was yesterday is not who you are today. So I was going to say, my parents are really good parents, but they were strict. And as the first child, which I'm going to bring up in this conversation, is because my parents were very strict. I do love my parents, but they were strict. They told me to be home around about 4 p.m, 5 p.m, and go to bed like 6 or 7 p.m. And I'm saying that now because I don't really have to do that. Because now I'm like out of education for good now. But when it came to primary school, and the reason why I'm talking so fast is so that I can hold your attention. Because maybe like me, you have short attention spans. And it's not an insult, I just wanted to like say all my thoughts quickly before I forget. But yeah, let me continue. So when it came to primary school, I never saw anyone from my primary school ever again. Maybe I'll see them like in a high street once in a while, but where I see them most is on social media. And when it came to my secondary school, I do see people here and there, but at the same time, it's not often as much as I would like. I was going to say, when it came to secondary school, there was people that were popular and people that weren't. And I feel like I was in the middle. So the main message of this video is to realize that you need a life of your own, whether you're in education or not. And you don't want to depend on other people too much, which I used to do. So when it came to college, this was the first time where it was like boys and girls. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was like 16 when I first started and I finished when I was 19. And college is normally 2 years. But because of like my course in particular, I studied business before university. And then I was at college for like 3 years. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when it came to college, this was like the first time of when I actually talked to girls, at least regularly. Because when I was in secondary school, I had crushes on girls, but I never really talked to them. So I was going to say, right now, I do approach girls, but technically I should be calling them women, not girls. So I went back to go and do my English language and maths, and I did pass it within my first year and my second year of college, so I don't have to repeat anything. Again, I didn't have a life outside of education, and it wasn't until like the ending of college that I started to like hang out with people for like lunch. And I know it sounds sad, but the reason why I'm saying this is so that you don't do the same thing. But then when it came to university, that's when I completely did a 180, because that's when I wasn't confident, and then all of a sudden I had to. If you're still with me, thank you for like listening to what I had to say. But when it came to my university, I started to build confidence by keeping the promises that I made to myself. Like this is when I started my YouTube channel. This is when I started to get more haircuts. So normally in my videos, I normally give you advice, but I wanted to like give you more insight into my story. And I wanted to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes that I do if you want to build your confidence. So when it came to my university, I started to build more confidence. I started to keep the promises that I made to myself. And as well, I started going on dates. I feel like by going on dates, rather than having crushes on girls, is completely different. Because when I start going on dates, it's about getting to know a girl and knowing if you like them and if they like you. I was going to say, because my phone is nearly going to run out and it's nearly going to waste, as a guy, if you start to take care of your appearance more, you start to attract better quality women and better looking women. And no disrespect for women that aren't really your type. Back then when I didn't care about my appearance, I never used to approach women. So that's why I never used to get dates. But the thing is, when it comes to now, because I'm starting to take care of my appearance, I'm starting to attract better quality women. And the difference is that I'm able to attract women and get on dates, but I'm just working on how to like maintain a relationship and actually start one. How can you start a relationship if you can't really keep one? So you need to know the difference between wanting a relationship and keeping one. So I'll end the video here and thank you for watching. And you can like, comment and subscribe. And if you want more storytelling videos, you can at least let me know in the comments below.